How do you know that you have a gift or a dream you want to pursue? Well, if it brings you joy and peace, along with the feeling that this is what you were meant to do, if you want to keep getting better, practice, and share it with as many people as you can, then yes, this is your gift. Our guest today is Levi Graft, a singer, songwriter, and pianist who is pursuing his gift and pursuing his dreams. Let's meet Levi. So Levi, what's most important in your life?
Most important in my life would be faith, family, and then far behind it, but it would be music.
Nice. Okay. All right. So let's start with faith. Tell me about that.
Faith in God was such a journey. I grew up Catholic and was kind of on the fence. But when I got to college, I was opened up to some atheists, prominent atheists, Richard Dawkins, Christopher Hitchens, and Daniel Dennett. And I was a militant atheist. I started with my family, and if you believed in God, I was there to prove that God wasn't there. So, so I was very serious about it. And my friend Stephen Gallo, who I write songs with, he kind of led me away a little bit, and I don't want to put any blame on him, but he was also the one who led me back. So it's just fascinating how that worked.
How did he lead you back?
He started going to a Pentecostal church with a guy I graduated with, Blake Michaud. And he's saying, you might want to check this out. There's some interesting things happening here. And I was reluctant, but it was a Friday evening. And I don't know what made me decide to go, but I went. And there was a gentleman there named Brian Tunstall, and he was reading people's mail. And what I mean by reading people's mail is he was saying things about their lives that only they could know. And it didn't have to be a big thing, just little mundane things. And I just thought, that's really interesting. After the service, he met me and he asked my name. I said, my name's Levi. He said, that's a biblical name. Can I pray for you? And he touched me on my stomach and I was out. I fell down and had an encounter. I didn't know what or who with, but I left that night knowing that there was something out there that I don't know about, something more than I thought.
Right. You felt different. You had changed. What felt different to you?
I felt, at that moment, not much changed. I just felt an awareness and an excitement. But from that, I was opened up to the possibility. And my grandmother had just passed away in January, and I had this experience, and then I had a dream. And it was as real as anything, and I can remember it clearly to this day. She just took my hand and placed it just like this on her cheek, and she said, Jesus is real and you need to pray. And that it spoke to me, and it was so intense. And so from that, I grew in my understanding of God, and the biggest thing is I felt God's love. That was the game changer. I felt that He loved me despite everything I've done wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. And then it continued. Your journey continued.
It did. I played piano at the I played piano at the Pentecostal church,
Okay.
and then I went to a Presbyterian church.
Okay.
I was there for 4 years, and then I played piano for a Baptist church, and I've been there for 9 years. And while I was at the Baptist church, Father Bob was working on me, trying to bring me back to the Catholic faith. And I was adamant against it. I had a lot of misunderstandings about the church. And he would just slowly nudge me, and he would give me some of the writings of the early church fathers. And it was St. Ignatius of Antioch speaking about communion, Holy Communion. And that was it.
Wow.
For me, yeah.
That was the life, that was the changer.
It was.
Right there. Okay, all right, okay. And what was it in that?
He just said, well, the actual thing is what it said, beware of the heretics who denied the body and blood of the Lord. So that Holy Communion, it's real. It's John chapter 6, it's real. And I don't mean to say anything against our Protestant brothers and sisters, because I have had intimate relationships with them, and they are some of the strongest, most loving Christians, their family. And I can have a hard time talking about these things, but because of my job and what I do, it has caused me to have encounters, and it's beautiful, but it's also a little difficult.
Sure, and and all those people helped you grow.
Oh my!
All of them.
There are strengths to each side of it, and so I feel very ecumenical. I would love to see all the different denominations come together and worship together, and I don't think it was like it was in the old days.
Right.
I think things have changed a little bit.
That's right. I think we can all benefit from each other.
Amen.
In every way, in every way. We
Yeah.
can all take something that makes us better. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Well, you have a gift of music, and so I remember when you were in grade school, and I'm going to a musical recital that Conarea did, and you were in elementary school playing Mozart, and you knew then that you had a gift beyond, way beyond, not only your years, but most people's abilities. So you truly are gifted. So let's talk about that. Where did this gift come from? How did you know you had it?
Yes. Well, my love of music, I know, came directly from my dad. He always had music playing in the house, audiophile speaker system downstairs in the basement, just tweaked everything to be just right, where the speakers should be set, and had a record player. And Abbey Road by the Beatles was the one that I remember most of all, and just absolutely loved it. And so music had always been around. And I would say that piano wasn't the first thing. It was just music in general. And I think growing up in church, I can't understate how much hymns were a part of my upbringing in music. So
You mentioned, and we were talking earlier, you were mentioning that your dad wanted you to listen to the Beatles, and you first you weren't so interested. Tell us, go back there.
it wasn't the Beatles.
What was it?
Elton John.
Oh, Elton John.
Yes.
Okay.
And the way that went is, I remember so vividly, we went to Kmart, I got a Nintendo game, he bought a CD, we come back, he says, before you can play your game, you have to sit here and listen to this CD the whole way through. And I didn't want to, I wasn't interested, I didn't like the music, couldn't have cared less. And I don't know if it was a few days, a few weeks, I come back downstairs by myself and I find this CD and I just put it on. And I'm looking at it, I see a man sitting there with big glasses on and a white suit and a cane, and I was just mesmerized. I was like, who is this guy? And the songs just came to life. They were amazingly catchy. I had a mirror there. I was playing air piano before I knew how. And I was doing that all day. When I'd get home from school, probably 8 years old.
You were hooked.
I was. And at that same time, a neighbor lady moved in named Mary Ellen Burhans. And she had a piano being moved into the house, and I saw it going in. And I went down and I knocked on her door and asked if she would teach me, and she wouldn't. She was a retired piano teacher. She was a little older, and I think she just wasn't sure about if she could or where this would all go. But then I saw her in the grocery store, and my grandma pushed me to say, go introduce yourself again. And she agreed to teach me for $5 a lesson.
There you go. There you go.
So I walked down two houses down for 1 year, and she taught me the rudiments.
Oh, wow. So well done. So then after that, so you knew then, and you caught on pretty quick?
I did. After 1 year, I was invited to play for the Johnstown Symphony benefit concert. It was at Oakhurst Tea Room. I played a miniature version of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And
1 year into piano.
Yes, and then
you're playing Beethoven.
And then I played 2 of my own compositions. From the start, I always wanted to write.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Was it classical that you wrote?
It was just piano ditties. I don't know if it had much of a genre to it, and I don't think they were very good.
Awesome. So you definitely had a gift.
Well, who are you? Skylar.
This is Levi Graft, and I am the piano player. She's the dancer. And I am Levi Graft, and it is January 28th, 1998. And I am going to play Classic Sonata number 1. Go.
So that kept going. You continued to grow in that and to continue to learn.
Yes, well, she got a hold of her old student, Joel Hudock.
Okay.
Joel was the Uniontown band director. He came over and listened to me play, and he accepted me, and I studied with him for 6 years. And Joel was amazing because at that point I was still in the method books, which for piano and most instruments, there are different books that are graded to take you through to a certain point. But I was also learning Billy Joel. I was learning the Beatles and Elton on the side. So I would always come and, hey, look what I just learned.
It's good.
And play that for him. And he really encouraged it. He just lit up.
Right.
But he kept me on task for learning the serious aspects.
Right.
Not that Billy Joel and Elton John are not serious.
Right. But he let you open your creativity and
Exactly.
and explore them. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
And so then you continued on with your musical.
Yeah, after 6 years,
lessons.
he felt that it was time for me to go to the next step, and I found a teacher in Green Tree, Harry Coleman.
Okay.
He was a Juilliard graduate, and I went down and I played a little Chopin prelude, and I also played some Billy Joel. And he said, well, I don't teach Billy Joel, but I can teach you Chopin and the classical side of things. And that's where I say I received my chops. Harry, it was a grueling first 6 months. He sat there alongside me, 2 pianos for an hour every day, every lesson, and worked my muscles and got down to the nitty gritty of a coordinated technique of how to play.
Okay, that's good.
And he had me doing that every day. I practiced 3 hours a day.
Wow.
And in 2 years of my time with him, he got me into Indiana, Bloomington for music.
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you studied classical there?
I did, yeah.
Okay,
I got a bachelor's in piano.
Okay.
And it was amazing, just a world-class institution.
Right.
It doesn't have the name like Juilliard, but there were kids from over 50 countries,
Right.
1,600 students
Right.
in the program.
Right.
So my eyes were open to what talent is.
Yes, that was good to be in that environment.
It was very
Yes,
difficult,
yes.
though, because coming from a small town and going into this and thrown into it, it was very difficult to see, and seeing all the way up through the different collegiate levels, up through the doctorate. So people in their 30s studying with the same teacher that could play circles around me. But I hung in there.
Yes, you did. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. And then you came home and you taught.
I taught out of my mother's basement.
Yeah.
She helped me get going.
Okay.
Moved a couple grand pianos into the basement and took it seriously. And I never advertised, and slowly the students came, and I would say I really learned how to teach. At Bloomington, I only had one class in pedagogy. So most of my teaching just came from, as they say, learning on the job.
Right, right. So but then your place of lessons became the Con Area Catholic School building, the former Con Area Catholic School building. Yes. So tell us about that in that studio.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, my family purchased it from a gentleman who got it from the diocese. They got it very cheaply. And as soon as I heard about that, the light bulb just went off.
Right.
Because for recording and for teaching, what you want is a really tall ceiling for sound.
Yes.
And those rooms are 13 feet tall.
Yes. Built in 1900.
1911.
1911.
And they just don't make it like that. The walls are three bricks thick.
So the acoustics are great.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
So I went around and I picked my 3rd grade classroom for where I wanted the studio to be.
Where you went to school.
Yes, it was Mrs. Jones's classroom.
Okay. Does she know?
I think she knows.
You have to. Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah. And the computer room next to it, and I did the renovation, and my family helped me the whole way.
Nice.
And put a big window in so I could have literally all my computers and my recorders in the computer room.
Right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That works out so well. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so so you did that, and now, something happened about 4 years ago that kind of added a whole new dimension
Oh my.
to your life and to your music.
Yes, that would be meeting my wife, Megan. Yeah,
Yes.
we met online. Just a great woman, so strong in her faith. And I feel like we are a puzzle piece. We have enough similarity that keeps us bonded, but also those differences that maybe you could look at as strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
We complement each other well.
Very good. And they say that's the best.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was from Buffalo. We dated for 11 months.
Right.
And
11 months?
11
You
months,
knew.
and then I got down on my knee.
Aw,
So, yeah.
you knew.
I knew.
That is so special. And you met online.
We did.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And you got into, was it about the same time, kind of reconnecting or maybe connecting with Stephen to start writing songs? Talk about that.
Yeah, it was right before the pandemic. It was January 1st, actually. I think it was New Year's Day of 2020. I get an email and with a lyric, Ballad for James' Dream, which is going to be the first song on my upcoming album. And from then it just went. And I'd say we're up to 60 some songs in a couple years.
That you've written.
That we've written.
Okay.
And yeah, we've been writing songs since high school. I met him when he was a senior in Connellsville.
Okay.
And I was a freshman. We met on the stage and we connected over the Beatles.
Okay.
Had no idea we'd become best friends.
Right.
He was the best man at my wedding.
Aw.
And the relationship, I've known him 20 years now. And we started writing songs then, and it was slow. It picked up, kind of tapered off. And then in 2020, it just went so fast.
So you were writing songs under what kind of genre? Like what influences?
The influences of what I had said. It's Elton John, it's the Beatles,
Yes.
Billy Joel,
Yes.
Anything like the 60s and 70s.
Cool.
There's a lot of that in there.
Yes.
And the topics that Stephen chooses to write about vary so much. I mean, one song is about, the first song is about James Dean, if he had been from Connellsville.
Cool.
Yeah. There's a gospel song. There's a song about cowboys in outer space. Just a lot of different
Neat.
themes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear. So
Yeah.
how will we hear these? What will happen?
We are in the midst of recording. It's been going on for the better part of a year.
Okay.
And doing everything from placing the microphone to not only just sitting at the piano and writing the song. If I had to write the lyrics, I don't know that I could do it. So he sends me a lyric, I sit, I write the melody at the piano, and then we decide whose voice it would better suit.
So do you decide whose voice it will better suit after you write? So you see the words and then you write the lyric. What makes you feel how it should go?
It's interesting. I'm not exactly certain. Sometimes a certain phrase, and I haven't written to every lyric, but I find one that I read it through and I say, I like that line. Sometimes a phrase is really interesting, and it can kind of be like a scene coming to life, getting a visual, and then it can be a basic, is this country, is this a waltz, or is it the different feel, how is this fast or slow, is this bright or dark?
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's interesting. Very interesting. And what a talent to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's just it's from the heart.
What fun.
Yeah, it's
is.
a ton of fun. The creation process is, and neither of us know where it comes from, and you can't call upon it. You just have to dedicate yourself to giving the time.
Right.
And then eventually it will hit.
It will hit.
Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's a few days of scratching my head.
But you know that you are on it, you have to stay on it, and it brings you like a peace and a joy.
It is a feeling of such comfort
Yes.
in the excitement of playing it for him for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
The best.
It's the best. The recording process is the work side of it that you feel like you're really, you're earning it. Where the writing is a sort of spontaneous thing where it feels like it's just handed to you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you have plans. You're going places. Tell us about that.
Yeah, there are plans to leave for Nashville. It had been talked about. Megan has been prodding me to not only finish an album, to see this through, but that we should go to Nashville and see what happens.
That's awesome. With your 1-year-old daughter.
Yeah, we just got back. We
for
we
you.
found a place to live, signed a lease, and nothing like a deadline.
That's right.
So we are hustling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so great. You were really following your dreams, and Megan. If it wasn't for Megan,
I thought that the dream was over.
Yeah.
I really just,
Right.
I thought there's more to life than music. So, and I knew I wanted to have a family.
Right.
So I just figured, more practically minded, that I
Right.
would still write songs
Sure.
as a hobby.
Yeah.
But she, to my surprise, has just been right behind me saying, you need to get this done.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. This summer, I was at Yawk River Brewing for Bill Bauer's chemo kickoff party, and I was sitting there with my friend inside, because it's inside outside, and sitting there with my friend, and the music's playing, and it's loud, I can hear it, but it's so good. And Sydney and I, my friend, were looking at each other like, where's that music coming from? That's not live. There's nobody here playing that, but it's so good. Where is it coming from? We were sitting there debating, is it live? No, it's just no way. This is recorded.
Oh
So
my.
I said, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go find out. So I went up and I walked outside and I looked around the corner, and for the first time I saw you singing, and I was completely blown away. You were playing every song sounding like that person. Everybody was so into it. You created such an atmosphere for
you.
that party that it was electric, and so everyone loved you, and I still swear it was a recording. You were so good. So when you get to Nashville, they're gonna love you. They are going.
Thank you.
They are
That
gonna
means
love you.
so much to me.
Oh,
That's
we're-
gasoline in the tank.
Good.
Yeah.
Take it. Take it. Run with it. Run with it. And when you get there, don't forget about us.
I could never.
back.
I love home.
Oh, that's
I
good.
don't want to go, to be honest.
Oh no, go. You have
Yeah,
to.
I know I have to. I know
Yeah.
it makes sense.
You're right. Just write about Connellsville.
Well, it's right. It's the first line on the album.
Is
from
it?
a patch town looking out on the Yaka game.
Can't do better than that. Can't do better than that. Well, thanks so much, Levi, for being with us today and sharing your gift and your story with us. Please tell us, where can we follow you, and how can we follow what you're doing?
Yes, you can go to Instagram.
Okay.
Type in Levi Graft.
Okay.
Levigraft, and you should be able to find me.
Good.
It's my picture on the icon.
Awesome.
And I'd appreciate anyone who would go check it out and follow me. You could go to levigraft.com as well.
Awesome. We can't wait. Thanks so much. We're going to be following your success. We wish you the absolute best in everything you do. We're going to be watching you.
Thanks,
All right,
Mary.
Thanks. Levi's incredible gift was undeniable from an early age. Still, there were times in his life where he could have stopped from moving forward, but people nudged him along the way. He needed to grow into the person that God wanted him to be to reach his full potential. I hope that his story inspires you to open your heart and to dream big, to pursue your goals, and to know that God puts people in our lives at just the right time to let us know that He's got a plan and you've got a purpose. Thanks so much for being with us.